How's it going, everybody? My name is Jake. I go by JRideFlips on social media. I'm a full-time reseller on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari. I just wanted to talk about going full-time into reselling. It's something that's very awesome, something that can be very challenging, but something that can be very life-changing. And I feel like the majority of people try to hop in too quickly. And then there's also a demographic of people who don't hop in quick enough. And I want to talk about what is necessary to go full time on eBay and reselling. So before I get to that, if you guys have any questions about reselling, I'd love to be able to answer those questions to the best of my abilities. Go ahead and throw them in the chat. If you have any questions about eBay, reselling, Poshmark, Mercari, yard sales, thrift stores, if you have any questions about title structure or sell-through rate or anything like that, go ahead and put them in the comments below. But this is actually something that I'm very passionate about. I don't know why, but I love talking about finance. I love talking about self-improvement. I love talking about entrepreneurship and business. And so I wanted to talk about the things necessary to go full-time into reselling. And these are principles that you can get. How to get health insurance. Awesome. I'm glad you asked that, Lindsay, because I'm going to be covering that as well. So what's really cool about entrepreneurship is there are things set in place that benefit us. W-2 employees pay the most in taxes. And a ton of entrepreneurs are able to save money on taxes because the tax code is written for us so that we can improve the economy, be able to supply jobs, and just create a better economy and environment for the US dollar and for the US consumer. So I'll get into all those things as well. But in order to go full-time on eBay, you really have to have what's called a safety net. And a lot of people comment on YouTube videos and TikTok videos and Facebook and all that stuff about resellers, about how we don't have this safety net. And if you don't, then that hate, we'll call it, is actually legitimate, because you need to have things set in place and able to go full-time into a career like this, into entrepreneurship in general. What I always recommend is you have to understand what your bills are, and then you have to make double those in order to go full-time into any business. So I always recommend keeping your job and building and scaling as not as quickly, but not as slowly as possible, somewhere right in the middle, making sure that, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I talk about that on my channel a lot. But it's really important that you understand how much your bills are every month. And this includes your lifestyle. So not only your mortgage or rent, not only your car payments, not only your health insurance, not all of that stuff, but also how much do you spend on coffee? How much do you spend on video games? How much do you spend on movies? How much do you spend on going out to eat? Understand how much your lifestyle costs you every single month. And then you have to make at least double that before going full time. Also, I recommend having 6 to 12 months, closer to 12 months, hi Scout, of full-time money liquid in your bank account. So if your bills are $5,000 a month, you need to be making $10,000 a month before going full-time onto eBay. And you also need to have 30, hopefully more, in $30,000 in your bank account before going full-time, because that is your bills, $5,000 times 6, $30,000. Hopefully you're closer to 12 months, you have $60,000 in your bank account before going full-time. This is a very difficult thing to accomplish, especially because we live in a consumer society and we just like to spend money. Every time we make more money, we spend more money. So it's important that we live below our means, that we live half of our means, that we're making 2 times our bills, and that we have a huge safety net behind us. So that way, when we do go full time, there's no looking back. And if things become very, very tough and the struggle becomes real, we do have that store of cash that we can live off of while we're building, and even if we're losing. But if you have that 12 months, then it's going to go a long way to support you in your business, and things typically will end up being all right if you have a good business path. Now, those are 2 things that you need before going full-time into reselling financially. You're also going to need to understand how many items you need to sell to get those numbers. I have a couple of videos that talk about how to find your actual profit on things. My average profit per sale is $23. If I needed to make $1,000 a week to pay my bills, if my bills were only $2,000 a month, so I need to make $4,000 a month to go full time, I would need to make $1,000 a week. Divide that by 7. I need to make $142.85 per day. Divide that by 23. In that business model, I need to sell 6.2 items per day. So I'm going to shoot for 7. So that way I always have a little bit of excess. So now I need to figure out, how am I going to acquire and sell 7 items per day? So you have to figure out, what is your sell-through rate with the items that you are picking up. I have no idea how long this first rant is going to be, so we'll see how it goes. But if you want to sell 7 items per day, then you need to go out thrifting, you need to go garage selling, you need to do some online sourcing. What are you capable of getting in your environment? And then understand how quickly that stuff sells. Some people can only find with consistency things that have a 50% sell-through rate. That's fine. I encourage you to find 80% sell-through rate on a 90-day basis or quicker. I understand that that is not always easy or even doable in some areas, but I really would shoot for an 80% sell-through rate or even 100% sell-through rate if possible. If you have a 50% sell-through rate, you need to be listing 14 items per day to sell 7. So for every 200 items at a 50% 90-day sell-through rate, you will be selling 1 per day. If you want to sell 7 items per day, you will need to have 14 items in your store that have a 50% sell-through rate. This gets screwed up if your items only have a 20% sell-through rate. A lot of times we think that our items have a 50% sell-through rate, but we're actually picking up items that have a 20% sell-through rate. Now, in order to get 7 sales per day on a 20% sell-through rate, you have to have 7 times 5, 35. You have to have 3,500 items in your store at a 20% sell-through rate to have 7 items per day at a $23 profit. And if your items only have a 20% sell-through rate, you're probably not making a $23 profit per sale. You're probably making somewhere around $7. So this is where things get even tougher. You need to make $142 a day divided by a $7 profit. Now you have to sell 20 items per day. And if you have a 20% 90-day sell-through rate, then you are going to need to have a 9,100 item store to just sell 7 per day, making $7 profit. So it's really important to understand, how much money am I actually making per item, and how often is it selling? How many items do I need to have that number selling? Next up, you need to understand how easy or difficult it's going to be to obtain that many items. So let's stick with my business model, making $1,000 a week, selling 6.2, we'll say 7 items per day, and making around $23 per item. Can I find 50 items per week? 7 times 7 is 49. We'll round up again to 50. Can I find 50 items a week that I can list into my store at a 100% sell-through rate to get 7 sales per day? That sounds extremely difficult. It really does. Finding even 7 items with a 100% sell-through rate that sell for about $23 profit every single day is tough. So what you can do is you can say, can I find 14 50% sell-through rate items? I think I can do that. Let's go ahead and do this for a few weeks and then see if I actually can consistently do that. Can I find 100 items per week? Well, 14 times 7 is 98. We'll round it up to. So can you find 100 items per week that have a 50% sell-through rate that sell for a profit of $24? Now, I'm going to say that the average person here on eBay, I think that a $20 profit is very obtainable, but I would say that the average sale brings people $12 profit, okay? Usually your cost of goods is $2 or $3. Usually you have an average sales price of $21. Usually your average shipping is $5.50 with the fees and everything. I'd say the average person promotes at less than 5%. So I'll say that the average profit per item is around $11 or $12. So we'll say 12. Again, we want to make $1,000 a week, so $142.85 per day, and we have an average profit of $12. Now we need to find 12 items per day. Can you find 12 items per day, every single day, 7 days a week? Can you find 84 items a week that have a 100% sell-through rate? That sounds a bit difficult. Times 2. So can you find 168 items or 24 items per day that have a $12 profit? Can you list those every single day at a 50% sell-through rate? This is why I recommend a nice 80% sell-through rate, because you can pick up your 6 items that have a 50% sell-through rate. You can pick up your 6 items that have a 100% sell-through rate, and then you can pick up 3 or 4 items that have an 80% sell-through rate, and you'll just average out to be around 80% sell-through rate. You'll be able to list about 15 to 20 items per day. That's about where I'm at right now. I list between 15 to 20 items per day at an 80% sell-through rate, and everything is good to go from there. So understanding your numbers is also very important. Also, before you go full-time on eBay, you're going to need at least a little bit of support from your spouse. We talked about this on the Reseller Island podcast. If you guys haven't subscribed to the Reseller Island podcast yet, I'd really appreciate it if you do. Sunny Las Vegas and I have started a podcast called the Reseller Island, where we talk about, reselling. We talk about all the good stuff. So if you guys want to check out the Reseller Island, I'm actually going to be recording episode 2 with Sunny after this podcast and after this live in a few hours. But you need at least a little bit of support from your spouse, and the best way to garnish that support is by building and ramping up slowly, maintaining your job, and actually making profit. If you are selling 3 items per week at a $7 profit, that's only $21 a week, and your spouse is not going to be comfortable with you going full-time whatsoever. So it's important to scale up over time. And when money talks, if you can show your spouse, hey, look, I'm making $1,000 a week or $2,000 a week or $500 a week, $200 a week, you can slowly start to show them, even though they may have this, even though they may not fully believe at the beginning, if you can show them consistent sales and consistent profit, then you're going to start making more and more and more money, and you're going to have more and more and more support from your spouse. Now, when it comes to going full-time on eBay and reselling, there's a lot of different challenges that you're going to face. And I'll talk about those in a minute, but let's also talk about healthcare, taxes, and all that stuff. You only pay taxes on your profit. Okay. So a lot of times I'll post, I sold a camera for $25. And someone will be like, well, after gas and fees and expenses and taxes, you're really only making $2. And I think these people forget that you only pay taxes on your profit. So it's important to understand you're going to need a CPA, you're going to need a tax professional. I definitely recommend having one. And then I also recommend having a software like My Reseller Genie or things similar to that. You can explore those options as well. But your tax burden is much better as an entrepreneur than it is at working at McDonald's or Walmart or even Facebook or Google or being an engineer or any W-2 employee. W-2 employees pay the most money into the tax system because they can't write off their gas. They can't write off their computer. They can't write off any of their expenses because they don't have any. They're working for someone who has the expenses. So it's really important to understand your numbers and understand that being an entrepreneur is a blessing, okay? So when it comes to taxes, make sure that you understand that you are deducting your cost of goods, you're deducting your storage. I don't have much storage because I only have anywhere between 1,500 to 3,000 items in my store because I focus on sell-through rate, which is an awesome blessing. But you can write off your storage, you can write off all the fees that go to eBay, you write off all of just everything, okay? Make sure you're only paying taxes on your actual profit. So if you sell something for $100, everyone's like, oh, well, you got to pay around 22% in taxes. And it's like, that's true on the profit. So your profit on $100 item after everything is said and done is probably going to fall somewhere between 30 to 60%. So somewhere between $30 and $60. Now you're only paying 22% taxes on $40, not 100. So you're only paying $8 in taxes on that transaction, not $22. Okay. It's important to understand that as well. When it comes to healthcare, healthcare is really awesome as an entrepreneur. I don't know why more people, the system that has brought us up has taught us that we need to be employees and that we need to look to others to provide for us for some reason. It's all right. It's just the way that we've grown up. But my healthcare is better than most people's. Okay. I have retirement accounts on my own through my S corporation. I'm an employee to my own business. I have retirement accounts set up for my wife and I, who is a vice president of my company. We have a health savings account. So every year we put money into an account that gains interest. And I can use that money on health expenses if I'd like to, but I don't because it just sits in an account and is growing right now because the stock market is wild. It's been growing at a 17% rate over the last 5 years, which is awesome. So 17% compounding them up like 127% on my $7,000 that I put into that HSA every single year, which is awesome. They don't teach you that in high school or college. They just teach you to, spend $65,000 on a degree to make $49,000 a year for the rest of your life and not be able to enjoy an HSA account or it's called a health savings account. But aside from all of that, aside from the tens of thousands of extra dollars that my wife and I are receiving every single year, compounding on themselves in that HSA and in those retirement accounts and in those Roth IRAs and backdoor Roth IRAs and all of that good stuff, the health coverage is awesome as well because as an entrepreneur, you're able to go on to what's called the marketplace. And depending on how much money you make, it's subsidized into how much money you pay for healthcare. So let's say that you estimate that you're going to make $100,000 per year. That's what you tell your agent and your accountant, and then they're able to go onto the marketplace for you and purchase insurance for you based on how much you think you're going to make that year. If you predict that you're going to make $100,000 profit, they're going to use that information to go purchase insurance for you. And let's say that insurance on your plan for you and your wife and your 2 kids is somewhere around $600 a month. After the year, if it turns out that you actually only ended up making $73,000 a year, that extra money that you paid for your health insurance policies is now actually going to be a write-off and it's going to be another tax advantage for you. If you make more than $100,000 per year, it's fine because you made more money than you were expecting, which is awesome. You're going to pay a little bit more of a premium at the end of the year on your taxes for that insurance policy that you should have been paying more money into, but you were covered all year long and everything was good to go. And because you are showing that you are making money and that you're providing the life for yourself and your family and possibly future employees and things like that, health insurance is very affordable for people that run their own businesses. Plus, you're able to set up your HSA account. Plus, you're able to set up your retirement accounts and all that stuff. So, my personal insurance policies, I have my wife and I. We have, and it's awesome because my wife is a D1 athlete, so her health care is covered for a really long time. For all of her time as a D1 athlete. So anything that happens to her, the school takes care of, which is awesome. But I still have her underneath my policy, just for different advantages and things like that too. But I just had the surgery, met my deductible was $1,800, and then we just pay a couple $100s a month, and then it's all good to go. But yeah, health insurance and retirement accounts and tax advantages as an entrepreneur is awesome. So if people say, oh, why are you going out on your own? What about taxes? What about health insurance? You can say, well, when I drive to work, I get to write that off. When you drive to work, you pay for the gas and you pay taxes on top of that gas, and you can't write it off at the end of the year like I can. Every time you buy a computer for work, you don't get the benefit of being able to write that off because you're a W-2 employee and someone else gets to do that instead of you. So honestly, being an entrepreneur, I don't know why, I don't know why going out on your own and being an entrepreneur and having the safety net and all that stuff is so frowned upon, because if you set up your systems correctly, and the best way to set up your systems correctly is to just use a CPA, use someone who knows what they're talking about, and then just look up YouTube videos about it, and you're going to be able to create an awesome empire. Another thing that I wanted to recommend is when to use sole proprietorship, when to use LLC, when to use S corporation, all that good stuff. Again, I'm not a tax professional. I'm just a guy on the internet talking about his own experiences. This is for entertainment purposes only and things like that. But I don't know. There's just so many advantages to running your own business. So I recommend people stay in a sole proprietorship for a while. The reason why you would go S corporation is for those tax advantages that I'm talking about. So as a self-employed person, you do actually end up paying more taxes um, on your business. But what you do is, once you get to a certain amount of money, which that is between you and your CPA and your state, and how much is an affordable living and affordable wage and all that stuff, that's for you guys to figure out. Once you get to a place where you're making enough money, you can S corporate your LLC. So you can create an LLC and an S corporation the same day. I honestly don't really recommend anyone really doing an LLC when they're starting an eBay business. There's just no real reason to. You can do an S corporate. I've heard people just doing a sole proprietorship until they started making like $800,000, and then at that point they just created a quick LLC and then S corporated the LLC right then and there. But yeah, once you create your S corporation, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to, according to the amount of work you put into your business and according to what's a good living wage in your state or in your city, you're just going to go ahead and you're going to pay yourself a livable wage, whether that's, $80,000, $40,000, $150,000, whatever it is. And then all the money that's left on top goes into your business portfolio that you are able to use for investments and for reinvesting into the business. And you're able to save a ton of money on that because of the way that the tax law is written. So you definitely want to get to an S corporation eventually, in my opinion, if you're really looking to pump out a reselling business. All of this information can be found at a professional, tax accounting firm or just online. But I would definitely recommend talking to a CPA, talking to a professional, and getting all of those things set up. But yeah, when you make a good amount of money reselling, which if you guys, a lot of people get very, very upset with me when I talk about this. I don't know why, but if you just focus on sell-through rate, you're going to make a ton of money. You're going to have very minimal storage and very minimal overhead. And you're going to be able to create an awesome business to where you're making a ton of money. And then you're going to be able to set up your systems to where your healthcare is taken care of, to where your taxes, where your tax bills is going to be low. And you're going to be able to grow your business, expand your business, and help the U.S. economy. But I wanted to talk about a few more things. Man, I've been talking for 23 minutes already. Jeez Louise. I don't know. I'll probably make a video on this eventually. But what the main point that I want to make is, before going full time on reselling, really make sure that it's going to be worth it for you. And there's a lot of different opinions about whether right now is a good time to go full time or if it's a horrible time to go full time, because we have been in the pandemic bubble where a Nintendo Wii a few years ago was selling for $150 on eBay. Now they sell for $40. DVDs were selling for like $30, $40, $50. Those same DVDs are selling for $4 to $8 today. The sell-through rates were over 200% on some items. They've come all the way down to 15 or 20%. So it's really important to just focus on things that are currently selling. But a lot of people went full-time during this explosion of sales. Everything was selling for more than it was worth. Everyone, had a ton of money being pumped into the economy. We were getting checks like every quarter. A lot of people took advantage of getting $600 a week every single week and having a job on top of that. And so there was just a ton of money in the economy, and a lot of people were like, "Hey, I can afford some Oakley sunglasses. Hey, I can afford The Office on the DVD. I can afford anything that I really want because I have more money, more disposable income than I ever have." Now we're at a point where the U.S. consumer has more credit card debt than they ever have in the history of the world. We're over $1 trillion in credit card debt, which is just wild. So sales are becoming more and more hard to come by, if that was a correct English sentence. I don't feel like it was. But it's getting harder and harder to make sales on eBay because the consumer is more and more and more squeezed. Now, your milk is up 40% than it was just 6 or 7 years ago. So you have to spend more money on your groceries. You have to spend more money on your mortgage. You have to spend more money on your perishables, and you have to keep replacing those. And you have to keep buying toilet paper and toothpaste. And so everything, the DVDs and the cassettes and the Oakley sunglasses and everything else just takes a back seat because you have to focus on the things that are actually going to get you through your life. So I would say that sales are becoming harder and harder to come by on eBay. But the way that you trump that is you look everything up as you find it, and you only purchase things to sell in your eBay store that have a strong sell-through rate. I talk about this all the time. I know you guys are probably sick of it by now, but it just hurts my heart sometimes that there's so many people that are unhappy with their current situation on eBay. And their situation could be so much better if they just focus on sell-through rate, guys. So I really encourage you to focus on sell-through rate. It's only going to lead you to more and more success on your eBay business. And as you find things that you thought were selling 3 years ago with a 150% sell-through rate, when you look it up and you're like, oh wow, this has a 14% sell-through rate now. I'm not going to buy that. It's going to take 4 or 5 years to sell, and I'm not in the business of storing everything and keeping it all in my shed or my garage. But so yeah, in that sense, when you want to go full time on eBay, I definitely recommend having. I've said 6 months of bills since when I started this channel. I think I'm moving completely toward 12 months. I think, and I don't want to sound the alarms on the economy or anything. Wise men and that have written books and that have mentored me have told me that the first thing to understand about economics is to completely forget everything you know about economics. No one can predict it, not even the Fed can predict it. But yeah, so I believe that we are heading into a bit more turbulent times in the economy. I've seen some people dialing back their experiences on reselling. I'm seeing some people getting out of it completely. A lot of people local to me are actually coming to me with huge bulk deals that I'm able to take advantage of. And for those of you that don't know, I have a wholesale business that's very local to just here in Las Vegas. So I make a lot of money online, but I also make just as much money local deals selling huge bins of toys and different electronics and stuff like that. But besides the point, I'm having more and more people come to me with huge bulk deals that I'm able to take advantage of because times are a lot tougher for people. The consumer is squeezed and the reseller is squeezed. So it's important to focus on sell-through rate. I promise that more of you will be here a month from now, 3 months from now, a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. If you just focus on fast sell-through rate items, it just logically makes more sense to me. Only sell the things that people are buying. You know what I mean? If you only sell things that people buy, the only problem that you will have is that you can't get enough of those items. So about, man, this is just a TED Talk. This isn't even a live Q&A. We're going on 30 minutes here. Sorry about that. A few months ago, I had 3,000 active items in my eBay shop. Today I have 1,600. Let me see. Let me pull it up here. Active listings. Today I have 1,680. So my store has almost come down. Oh, 1,679. Just sold a pair of sunglasses. My store has almost been cut in half because I am focusing on fast sell-through rate items. I can't find enough items to grow my store. It's an awesome place to be. It really is. But yeah, I don't know. I can't talk about it enough. Just try to sell things that people actually want to buy instead of trying to sell things that people wanted to buy 4 years ago when they had more money than they ever had, or even 20 years ago that may not be up to date right now, or 40 years ago. But I'm noticing that things that were made 40 years ago that are still around today are selling for a ton of money and for super high premiums. So But yeah, if you want to go full time on eBay, I definitely recommend having 12 months of liquid cash that can pay your bills. So you are able to weather any storm and be prepared for whatever comes at you. So if your bills are $5,000 a month, I recommend staying at your job until you have $60,000 liquid cash in your bank account. And I understand that that's a hard thing for most people. Some people will never see $60,000 in their life, and I understand that. And that's how hard it should be to go full time on eBay. That's how hard it should be to go full time on reselling. Is you should have 12 times your bills in your bank account ready to go at any given moment. So that's what I recommend. You can go a little faster than that. You can go a little slower than that. That's just my recommendation. You need to do what's best for you and your family and your business. You don't have to listen. My word isn't gospel. It's nothing like that. It's just what I really recommend. And another thing, man, I'm getting a ton of messages right now. Another thing is I really want to start talking about finance one day. It's in my 5-year plan to start another YouTube channel called JRide Finance. It'll eventually be up there, but I think that's years down the road. But yeah, definitely want to start talking about that as well. But let's go ahead and hop into some questions. I didn't talk about everything that I wanted to, but we're 31 minutes in, so let's go ahead and get to some questions. There's not too many right now, which is awesome. So yeah. So I'll just re-answer this again. So how do you get health insurance? You can just do a quick Google search for health insurance near me or health insurance agent. This agent is able to go onto the marketplace on your behalf and purchase it for you. You don't pay anything to that agent. The agent is paid from the insurance companies. They get like a commission for giving you, the customer, to them under their network. So you don't have to pay an agent to get health insurance. They're just going to help you find it and get you the best rate. And then in correlation with your tax professional, you guys are able to get the best deal possible and all that stuff. I got no bills and I want to go full time when I start. I know it's slow, but I'm really passionate about the eBay selling career. You have no bills? Are you a youngster? How do you have no bills? Hey Jake, I've got no bills and I want to go full time when I start. I know it'll be slow, but I'm really passionate about the reselling career. Man, no bills. That sounds awesome. Yeah, I mean, if you got no bills, you just have to have double of 0 is 0. So if you follow that logic, but no, yeah, I would still definitely try to build a bank account as quickly as you can. Just go slow at the beginning, focus on things that are actually moving, and you should do really well. I'm doing great. Flipping from the trailer, Mike. Thank you. Can you go through listing an item, like how you would list something? Yeah, I have several videos on that. Connie Martin, if you're still here, hop over to my YouTube channel, and my most viewed video, just sort to popular. It's it's something like the ultimate guide for reselling on eBay in 2024 for beginners, something like that. I actually show you how to list with my phone in that video. Also, do you have an account set up for retirement? Yeah, I have several of those for my wife and I. Do you promote your listings? Yes, I promote all of my listings at 2.6%. Whether it needs to be promoted or not, I just have all of my listings get promoted at 2.6%. And I found that that's a good place for me. Quick selling tips. Yeah, my whole channel is quick selling tips. So take a look at my channel. Quick selling tips. Try to only purchase things that people actually want to buy. You're always going to be selling things if you find things that have a demand for them. So if you find things that you like that don't have a demand, you're not going to be able to sell them quickly, and maybe not at all. But if you find items that have demand and have people searching for them right now, you will be able to sell them if you list them at a reasonable market price that your consumer is willing to pay. Way too early, bro. Yeah. This is the earliest live that I have ever done, and we have about 180 people in here, which is awesome. Appreciate the likes and all that good stuff. Thanks for everyone for being here. But yeah, this is the earliest that I've ever done a live, and I'm liking it. It's going well so far. I just started 2 months ago. I have 82 active and 52 sold with 100% feedback. Should I list more? What do you think? You can, in my opinion, list more if you can continue to find fast sell-through rate items. Don't just list items to increase your store. If you can keep finding items that have a similar sell-through rate or just slightly less, that's fine too. But if you have 82 active and 52 sold and you go to 160, you're not going to have 100 sales because you're sacrificing quality of items to inflate your store to 160. If you just keep slowly building, then you're going to keep slowly increasing your sales as well. But if you just really increase your store size, you're still only going to grow maybe even at a slower pace because now you're getting items that aren't selling as well. And there's this concept. I don't call it a myth or a rumor or law. There's this concept that your slower items hold back your fast selling moving items. But what I've seen is that when you have items that move fast, they move fast. And when you have items that move slow, they move slow. And your fast items don't bring up your slow items, and your slow items don't bring down your fast items necessarily. The only thing that really brings down your items is if a ton of people are coming to an item, clicking on it, and then clicking away from it and not purchasing it. And that comes with a slow sell-through rate as well. Let's see. Jared, can you talk about organic sales to promoted sales and if most of your promoted sales come with best offer? Thank you. Yeah, we can hop into my numbers here real quick. Sales. Let's see. Sold another pair of sunglasses. My organic sales are down 21% right now, and my promoted sales are up 33%. Yeah, this is actually pretty interesting. I haven't looked at these in a while. So 68.8% of my sales are coming from promoted listings, and my promotions are only at 2.6%. So at 2.6%, I'm getting 7 out of 10 of my sales at a very, very low promotion rate. So I definitely recommend promoting. 31.2% of my sales come from organic sales. Offer sales, 20% of my sales come from best offer. 16% come from seller initiated. So when I send out an offer, 16% of my offer sales are coming from me sending them out. And then 65% are coming with sales without offer. So 65, almost 7 out of 10 of my items are being purchased without an offer being sent from the buyer or the seller. People are just clicking on it and buying it. And then of my sales that do come from offers, only 15% come from when I send an offer. 85% come from buyers sending me an offer and I accept it. When selling something like clothing, I know it's important to put sizes in the description, but how important is it to photograph the measurements, as that takes more time? Wondering if it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. I don't include measurements in my clothing, just because I'm happy with the rate that my clothes move without putting the measurements in. But I do get questions all the time. Hey, what are the measurements? And then I just respond, free returns if it doesn't fit. I have no measurements. But yeah, you would definitely increase the velocity of your sales if you include the measurements. And if you don't, you will get several questions every single day, depending on your store size. What are the measurements pit to pit? Any sourcing tips besides all the main ones we know? Yeah, I have like 4 YouTube videos on that subject. Facebook groups, going to recycling plants, things like that. Go ahead and spend some time on my channel. Just look up JRide sourcing, and there's a ton of tips on them. Robert, thanks for being here, man. Good financial advice in general, not just resellers. And in my honest opinion, put credit cards away if you have to use them only for the convenience to pay off each month. Yep. And I was actually going to talk about credit cards too. And I have a different opinion than you, Nancy, but I understand the principle behind it because a lot of people aren't disciplined and they get into trouble with their credit cards. But I have a business credit card that takes my wife and I to like Hawaii or Greece or Italy once or twice a year, because I have my business credit card set up for my shipping. So every time that I ship something out, I get ×3 points on all my shipments. And I usually end up having like 400,000 points every single year. And a trip to Hawaii only costs about 120,000 points a person, which is dope. And that includes the flight, the hotel, the car rental, all that good stuff. So I'm able to leverage those business credit cards on things that I'm already spending money on. And I also use it to purchase all of my inventory. So I'm already spending that money for my business. And then I get 1 to 3% back on everything that I'm buying. And then I'm able to utilize those credit card points through different offers and systems. You can watch YouTube videos on this as well. I'm able to utilize those travel points to actually get sometimes all the way up to 10% back. Sometimes it's usually around 7 or 8%. I'm able to get 7 or 8% back from all of my purchases to travel and to experience the world and all that stuff. Even though I'm not like super huge on traveling, my wife super is. She enjoys it. And so I really enjoy it with her. But yeah, because of that credit card that I have, if you're disciplined to pay it off every single month, you can travel the world. It's pretty sweet. And if you can really scale your business to do $3, $4, $5 million a year, then you can go on a dope vacation every single month. But if you have that much money anyway, you can just travel anyway. What insurance do you have for your business? Where do you get your business liability insurance? I don't have any liability business insurance for my eBay business because eBay usually takes care of the majority of that. Just as long as you are not selling things that have extreme variables. That's why you're not allowed to sell medical equipment, because of the liabilities and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't have any business insurance for my eBay business whatsoever, but I do have business insurance for other businesses that I have underneath my umbrella. And I actually forgot the name of the company that I used for my 2 other businesses. I forgot, but it's like $79 a month per business. And I think it's $1 million worth of coverage for $80 a month. Hey, thanks for being here. When should I switch from free eBay to a store? You can Google when should I get a store subscription on eBay, and it'll ask you to punch in a bunch of numbers, and then it'll calculate it for you when you should get the $5 store, when you should get the 20, when you should get the 60. You should get the $5 store somewhere around 125 items. And then you should probably get the $20 store somewhere around like 600 items. But you'll get a more accurate quote if you Google it. I have 270 items, 72 sold. Been doing this about 6 or 7 weeks. I think that's a good start. Yeah, Mark, I think you're on a good path. You're obviously growing. You're trying to grow as much as you can, and then the sales are lagging behind just a bit. But if you just keep focusing on actually selling things instead of inflating your store, I really think you're going to do better. So a lot of people are going to tell you, list a ton of items, build a huge store. But I really recommend to sell items. Don't focus on the store size. Focus on how much money you're actually making. And it's very, very, very simple math when you can understand the sell-through rate and the profit per item, like I was talking about earlier on in the video. If you just calculate those 2 principles, it's clockwork. You can literally say, okay, law of averages, I'm going to make around $1,000 this week if I use this math. I'm going to make $17,000 this month if I use this math. It might only be $15,200 this month. It might be $19,700 the next month. It might be $9,000 one month, but it all averages out to about $17,000 if I just keep doing what I'm doing. I love watching you and following you. Can't say 20 without saying it like you do. 20, lol. Just wanted to share that. LOL. What? I love watching you and following you, and can't say 20 without saying it like you do. 20? Did I say 20? Is 20 incorrect in your eyes? 20? I say 20. I'm 28. 20. 20? I don't know. Morning, finally caught alive. Hope you're healing well. Oh yeah, I'm good to go. Yep, my the surgery and the recovery went extremely well, and I'm working out, doing all that good stuff, so I'm having a good time. Question, I noticed that you seem to find great finds and they are electronics based. I am curious how you test certain things like various cameras if you don't necessarily have the chargers for them. I do. Or sound systems and car stereos, for example. Are you sending to the buyer and having them test them for you? If so, no. I test everything. So I test all of my cameras with all of my batteries. All of those are batteries, and I have 3 more bags like this, and then I have a universal charger. Testing electronics are easier than you would think. They're a bit more difficult than it's more difficult than it is easy, but it's not as difficult as you would think. You just plug things in and then you make sure that their functions work. If you want to test a food processor, you plug it into the wall, make sure it spins, and then you can like stick your hand in there, see if it gets cut up. No, just kidding. Just make sure that it spins. Let it keep running for a while. You'll know if it works. If you have a DVD VCR combo player, plug it into your TV, put in a VHS, make sure that works, put in a DVD, make sure that works, and you're good to go. Yeah, and then with all the cameras, you just make sure you have the batteries necessary. You can purchase all those batteries for like $1.69 plus shipping. And with the way Chinese companies have their systems set up, sometimes they're able to ship things to you for like 31 cents. So you're able to buy those batteries for $2, and then you can just stock up on them as you get those cameras in. Just buy the necessary batteries for them to test them, and yeah, you're good to go. And then yeah, just this universal charger. So universal charger cost me $7.87 shipped. Very, very cheap, very affordable. So yeah, just test them all. Would you consider doing a video on how you part out appliances, bread makers, blenders, coffee, the parts that are worth? Yeah, I can do that. The best way to do it, we'll use this for example. So I've got this Jack LaLanne power juicer, and it has the model right here. It's the MT1000. So I'm going to go to eBay. I'm going to type in Jack LaLanne power juicer, and then I'm going to type in MT-1000. I'm going to filter to sold. And this is going to include all the parts too. So right off the bat, I'm seeing that the little chute sells for about $15 plus shipping. I'm seeing that the little crescent thing right there sells for about $13 plus shipping. I'm seeing that this little piece right here sells for about $10 plus shipping. I'm seeing that this little catching bowl sells for about $11 plus shipping. I'm seeing the base sells for about $30 plus shipping. And I'm seeing that this middle unit sells for about $30 plus shipping. All you do is you type in the model number and then filter to sold, and it'll show you what pieces are actually selling. You can do the same thing. You can do the same thing with this Dyson. So I'm going to type in Dyson V7 Motorhead. I'm going to filter to sold. And boom, I'm seeing that the brush head sells for about $35. Let me filter to used real quick. Filter to used. I'm seeing that the wand sells for about $20 plus shipping. I'm seeing that the motor head sells for about $40 plus shipping. I'm seeing that just this gray part right here sells for about $35 plus shipping. I'm seeing that the canister and the motor together sells for about $70. I'm seeing that this wall screw in is on for about $20 plus shipping, and I'm seeing that the battery sells for. And then I just listed all accordingly. Dyson's really easy because they all just, you push the button and they come apart. And yeah, sometimes you'll walk into a store. And so like I just showed you 2 items, but the power juicer, I'll probably get 6 or 7 items to sell off of that. And the Dyson, I'll get 5 items to sell off of that. So I got 11 items for only $37 that will make me about, probably $320. Take out fees and shipping and all that good stuff. Do you still buy baseball grips where the bat is kind of wearing off? If so, do you retape the grip? Yes, I do. And no, I don't retape them because your customer will. A lot of times people will buy a baseball bat with a perfect grip and they'll take it off and put their custom tape on anyway. So if it has a really awesome grip or a really terrible grip on the baseball bat, it doesn't matter because people will replace it with their own tape. So just take good photos of it. And then if it's in really trash condition, just say needs new grip. You don't even have to knock any money off. If some people will still just buy it full price, or some people will send you an offer for $5 off because they'll say, hey, I'm going to regrip this. And then you just accept what's best for your business. But yeah, so like this, for example, got this golf club. This grip isn't in terrible condition. You guys probably can't even tell. It's not in terrible condition, but it's not in great condition either. Just going to list it and they will regrip it if they want to. Oh, sorry. Is there a small light kit for those of us limited space and time you recommend? Not that I recommend, but if you just type into eBay or Amazon lighting kit, you'll see a ton of different options. And then just based on your consumer habit, you'll buy the cheapest one, the mid-grade one, or the most expensive one, whatever is best for you and your business. Thank you for teaching the facts. I've never heard anyone talk about the sell-through rate. Makes so much sense. You must be new to the channel because that's all I talk about for the last like 2 or 3 months. But yeah, so thanks for being here. No, yeah, sell-through rate is extremely important. Other people will disagree with me for some reason though. I have trouble finding time to list when I'm spending hours driving around doing Facebook pickups. Yeah, you can just, so a lot of people I know will just list in their car. Like that's why this phone, like, man, I'm just covering all the controversial topics in the community right now. List with your phone. It's so much better. Also, if you know that you're going to be busy, this is a Kevin Commonwealth picker tip right here. I've heard that he will just take a ton of photos. He knows that he's going to list a ton of these items. So he'll take a ton of photos. And then while he's, just underneath his tree or at his son's baseball game, he has the photos and he's able to just do his listings from his phone. He doesn't have to do them at a desk like I typically do them from. Because he just has all the photos and he can just open up the eBay app, copy someone's listing, and then upload the photos. So like listing can be like you just have to adapt to your surroundings. So you can go and you can pick up whatever you bought from the Facebook, and then you can literally just post it in your car. Osborne to Thrift is a huge example of this. I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but his photos are pretty bad. he'll just list on his dresser or on his nightstand. Sometimes it'll even have like a cup from the night previous, and he'll just list it on his nightstand, and it sells because he focuses on really fast sell-through rate in demand items. And all it takes is just a picture or 2 or 4 of the item, and it will sell. So you can literally just sell it you can list it from your car. There's been a ton of times. Carry American Arbitrage, I'm just a name dropper today, I guess. He'll go to a baseball game, or he'll go to like a movie, and he'll get the popcorn tin, the like custom, like, oh, the Queen, the Bohemian Rhapsody specialized tin. He'll go see that movie, and then he will list in the second that he gets it in the movie theater, he'll list it on eBay, and he'll sell it for like $40 before the movie's even over. So like you guys can list things from anywhere. Jake, sup? Thanks for the great shirt deals last night. Yeah, you're welcome, Jeff. I hope you make some money off of them. They're in that bottom box right there. Hope you make some good money off of them. Love the content, Jake. I think you can use different models to succeed on eBay, but focusing on sell-through rate is key for new sellers. Yeah. But if you want to have, minimal, I don't know. Yeah, there's plenty of ways to skin a cat. But yeah, if you only sell things that are selling, then you're never really going to run into any issues. Hey, Jake, when I list, I always want to cover all the options, item specifics. Is this helping the algorithm, or does it matter at all? If you don't actually know the item specifics, it's hurting you. So don't fill them out just to fill them out. And if they aren't relevant, then don't put them there. So like if you were selling this Husky knife, and it asked you for the character, and you put Pokemon, that's going to hurt you. If you are trying to sell this golf club, and you don't know the actual loft of it, but you just make up a loft, it's going to hurt you. So you don't have to put all of the item specifics. It doesn't help you if it's not actually relevant to the item and helping someone actually find them in search. So just do the ones that are actually relevant and that will actually help your item move. But getting the check mark or whatever, in my opinion, actually kind of hurts you. Also posting our first YouTube video today, which is like, that's awesome. Riverbend Resell. I'll take a look at it for sure. Let's all go subscribe to Riverbend Resell. Just across the Riverbend. Riverbend Consulting. Yeah, I'll make a note of it to find you later. With new accounts, it's very hard to find until you have a few established videos, but we'll take a look. Do you recommend Vendoo? Do you use Vendoo for cross-listing? I don't use, I use Flip. It's free for like 6 more days. I don't recommend Vendoo because I've never used it. I don't recommend Cross List Perfectly because I've never used it. I do actually recommend cross-listing though to increase visibility in sales. And as long as you're keeping track of your data and making sure that things aren't selling on 2 platforms. But yeah, I don't have one that I recommend aside from Flip. I use Flip and it's really nice. I like it. Hi, how do you set a flat rate promotion for all listings? I don't know off the top of my head, but it's in your business policies. So you go to your seller hub, you go to listings, and then on the left, you're going to see business policies, and then you can create a business policy for standard. You can just Google it. The easiest way to do really technical things is to just Google. To have your eBay, be logged into your eBay account, and then open another window, and then Google how to do anything on eBay. And then when you Google it, it'll pull up a screen for you, and it'll already be connected to your eBay account, and you can do it. If a buyer pays for priority mail, 15, for example, but ground is cheaper than 8, do you switch it? If it gets there around the same time, if they specifically paid for priority, you need to you should send it out priority, especially if you live in California and they live in New York and they paid for priority and you use ground advantage. It should get to them in 2 days, but because you use ground advantage, it's going to take like 7 days. They will be upset. I would be upset for sure. I mean, I wouldn't really be upset because it's not really my personality, but yeah, they would have means to be upset for sure. So just make sure that your packages are getting there in the time frame that they should. But if priority is 1 to 3 days, and if you live in Utah and something's going to Nevada, then you can definitely use USPS ground because it's just going to get there in 1 or 2 days anyway. But can't you write off those things as a sole proprietorship too? Yes. Yeah. Everything in your business you can write off as a sole proprietorship, an LLC, an S corporation, a C corporation, anything. When you have expenses and you report your gain, you can deduct all of expenses, no matter what you have written up. How many items do you have at any given time? I've seen some people with 20K items in their store. Yeah, I used to have 3,000. I'm down to 1,680. Yeah, and I'm currently selling about 20 items a day across all my platforms. I just continue to restock with high sell-through rate items. I believe I will mellow out around like 1,200 or 1,400 items. We'll see what happens. Let's see here. Hey, finally caught you live. Thanks for all the tips. I'm implementing them out in the field. That's what I'm talking about. New reseller here. Oh, guys, we just sold some women's jeans for $11. We're rich. New reseller here, seeing some good progress. How do you manage shipping everything at once? Do you just bring everything to the post office every day? I have you can set up UPS to come to your front door every day. I'm in a new construction area, so I still don't have that. So yeah, we go to USPS or UPS every day and just drop it off. And if you have a at-home printer, which it sounds like you do, you just slap the label on, and then you can just take it to a bin or put it on the desk at the USPS. Just talk with your local employees, and say, hey, these are pre-scanned and ready to go. Where do you want them? And they'll usually point, and then you just put them there and walk out. You get to skip the line every time. Every time you walk in, and everyone in line just like eyeballs you as you walk past them, and just put it in the bin and then walk out. And everyone's like, I wish I could do that. It's fun. Let's see here. Shane with the $2 super chat. Appreciate you, man. Soda City Flip says, I only buy things that people sell. That's funny. That's funny. I had to reset my eBay account. I have a major death pile. Most aren't good sell-through rate. Would you recommend me just powering through the death pile, then source better items? That's tough because a lot of people say, well, if it has a slow sell-through rate, can't I just put it at a huge discounted price and won't it sell quick? And a lot of times the answer to that question is no, especially if it's in a heavily saturated category like a cassette or a CD. If there are 420 listed and you put yours $3 below market and only 6 have sold, yours there's only one selling every 2 weeks. One sells every 2 weeks, and the chance that someone's going to find yours out of 420, even filtering from low to high, there's still a good chance that yours gets looked over and someone else buys someone else's. So if only 6 are selling every 2 weeks, and there are hundreds listed, even if you put it at $1 plus shipping, still a good chance. And especially in the media category where there's huge companies that have huge discounts with mail, with the USPS and stuff, and they're able to ship for 80 cents. Game over, man. So I would recommend, I don't know what I would recommend listing. What I would do is I would take your death pile and I would have 3 bins, or if you have huge items, just 3 locations. And I would have the sell individually pile. These are items that go for a good profit, have a fast sell-through rate. Then I would have the sell as a lot pile. These are items that you can put 2 or 10 or 15 together and sell off in a lot. And then I would have the get the heck out of my house pile. And I would just get rid of it, whether you're donating it or throwing it away or anything like that. So that's what I would recommend doing, is completely just destroy that death pile. Just get the good items out of it, list them, lot up some of the items that will sell well together, and then just get rid of everything else. But yeah, that's my advice. I found my first brush popper the other day. I would have passed on it if you didn't say they were great. You're the man. Hey, appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Where do you get your boxes from? I know you said before, dumpsters. I get them from Smith's, which is the West Coast version of Kroger. I just get them behind, Kroger and Dollar Tree and Home Depot, stuff like that, just from dumpsters. What is the best way to research what items have the best sell-through rate without being in the field? What can I do from home to research on eBay? I have the video for you. I forgot what it's called. Let's go into my YouTube channel. I have a video. It's called something like know what items to buy before you even enter the store. Man, I'm struggling. Sort of most viewed. I can't remember. It has 16,000 views. It's just a white background, and it says eBay buy these with my face on it. It says how to know what brands to pick up to sell on eBay. Yep. And that shows you, and that teaches you how to do research outside of the field to know what to look for while you're in the field. And I would definitely recommend looking up items in the field as well. I've never seen you at the Boulder Highway Swap Meet. Got a booth there. Hope to see you soon. I have been to the Boulder Swap Meet one time before my YouTube channel. I usually go to the Broad Acres. But yeah, from what I remember, the Boulder is just a lot smaller and not as many vendors. And it's farther from me because it's in southern Las Vegas. But yeah, I'll definitely make trips out to there here and there as well. Especially just I need good sourcing content and all that stuff. So I got bills, I gotta pay, so I'm a work every day. That's what I'm talking about. I'm interested in where you're finding strange shaped boxes when dumpster diving. Think baseball bats. Go to a used golf shop. Used golf shops have all the boxes you would need to ship golf clubs and baseball bats. How does 2.6% ad work? It says low ad rate may limit performance. Yeah, that's just bureaucracy and jargon. Not bureaucracy. What's the word I'm looking for? Rhetoric and jargon. Yeah, just what you do is I would recommend starting at the lowest possible and then seeing if you like sales, and then increasing it a little bit from there and seeing if you like where your sales are at. And if you're still not super happy yet, increase it and then stop there and then just find your sweet spot. Some people find their sweet spot like me at 2.5%. Some people's sweet spot is at 5%. Some people's sweet spot is at 8 or 10. Whatever works best for you and your business. Your travel thrifting videos are really good. Oh, I'm a reseller. I am 2-3 months into this and listing 3 to 4 items, 3 items a day, selling 1 to 3 a day, but struggling to find enough boxes. Yeah, just you can buy your boxes off of Uline or Amazon, or you can just get them out of dumpsters like me. Just go to grocery stores and stuff. Do you divide the completed sales by the amount listed to get the sell-through rate? Yep. Yeah, so to get a 90-day sell-through rate. So if there are, we'll just do a very random number. If there are 65 sold and 187 listed, then that's a 35% sell-through rate. If there's 54 listed but 185 sold, then that's a 313% sell-through rate. Yep, large food stores for boxes. Still want to see you at the DI one of these days, LL. I go to the St. George DI every day. And then I go to Northern Utah DIs probably once or twice a month. But once I move up north in about a year, I'll be going to all of them very frequently. So we'll probably see each other one day. Are you able to write off losses with your reselling business? Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, anything that you can write off in any business and any expense you can write off. You can also write off depreciation of equipment if it applies. You can write off your cost of yeah. Just talk with a accountant professional, but anything you can write off in any business, you can write off in this business if you are paying for it. So if you make $1,000, but it costs you $1,200 to make that $1,000, then you would report a $200 loss. If you make $180 million and it costs you $200 million to make it, then you write off, then you show that you lost, what did I say? 180 million to make 200 million, then you show a loss of $20 million. It doesn't matter what the business is and what the write-offs are. It's just how much money did you make? How much money did you spend to make it? And if it's a loss, it's a loss. And the majority of the average company in America isn't profitable for the first 4.5 years. And the IRS understands that. So the IRS, when they're looking at your statements, they're almost expecting you to not make any money for the first 4 years of your small business. If you make more, if you actually make money, good for you, and you pay your taxes on that. If you don't make any money for the first 4 years of your small business, you're average and you're still on track. But the way that most businesses are set up is they do funding and they get as much money as possible and they spend as much money as possible to increase revenue and then try to sell out to a company that's even bigger than them. You are so very business savvy and wise beyond your years. Thank you so much for the great information. Hey, I appreciate that. Down East Pickers. First time I caught you live, been watching a long time. Question, how do you handle COGS on a lot that has 90% junk and 10% of good stuff? I don't want to divide total price by number of items since junk. Yeah, so if you get 100 items for $100 and then you throw away 60 of them, we'll just make it even. We'll just make it even more simple. If you buy 10 items and you spend $10, That's a $1 cost of good, right? But if you end up just disposing of 99 of them and keeping one, then your cost of goods is $10. If you get rid of 5 of them, but you keep 5, then your cost of goods is 10 divided by 5, which is $2. So your cost of goods for each of those 5 items was $2. Does that make sense? I hope that made sense. Thumbs up for Jake, everyone. Hey, appreciate that. How far do you niche down to determine sell-through rate? Example, Ralph Lauren shirt or Ralph Lauren large shirt or Ralph Lauren large shirt red or Ralph Lauren large shirt. So that's much more nuanced in clothing. And so Ralph Lauren, there's a ton of different markings. So like I'll use Tommy Bahama, for example. If you type in Tommy Bahama, it has like a 7% sell-through rate. If you type in Tommy Bahama Island Zone, then it has like a 50% sell-through rate. If you type in Tommy Bahama Island Zone 2XL, then it has probably like a 60% sell-through rate. And if you type in Tommy Bahama Island Zone Relaxed, and it has a margarita on the back, and you type in margarita, then it probably has a 400% sell-through rate. So as much data as possible. And that's, if you have more keywords and a better item, then it's going to sell faster because more people are looking for it. So as much, be as specific. Gosh, couldn't remember that word for a second. Be as specific as possible when you're looking for sell-through rates. Do you have any insight recommendations on creating a virtual business address for reselling social? I'm strongly considering making one as a business address to protect my personal info. Yeah, you can just do a PO box. Most people just do a PO box, and that's how they so you just get a PO box that costs like $40 a month at your USPS location, and then you can do everything from there. Thank you so much for the great info. Hey, appreciate that. How do you stop yourself from buying stuff for yourself when sourcing? I love shopping, so I find that problem because it defeats the purpose of doing this to make money. That's just different personality, so I don't have that struggle whatsoever, because I'm just in it to provide a living for me and my family, and I don't have a shopping addiction, but some people do, and so that's just going to be like a personal thing that you have to reflect on. I don't have an answer for that because I'm just so different from you. But if you just reflect on it, then yeah, you can come up with your own tips, or you can become part of a community with people that have that same issue as you, and you guys can bounce ideas off of each other. That's what I love about reselling and the internet and all these. There's so many different communities, and though we may not connect on a certain question or issue, you can connect with hundreds of other people, and then I can go connect with someone else that has a different struggle that you don't have that I do have, and I can go and connect and get advice from them as well. But yeah, guys, we've been going at this for an hour and 15 minutes, and I actually struggle with migraines. Migraines are the worst, and I am currently getting one right now. So I'm going to hop off, and I'm going to get some medication in me that's hopefully going to limit this. And then hopefully by the time I do the podcast with Sunny in like 2 hours, I'll be good to go. The medicine really helps with me, so I'll be able to go for the podcast. But yeah, definitely going to hop off right now. I'm starting to not be able to see the screen because I lose my vision when I get migraines. So I appreciate everyone coming out here. Everyone go subscribe to the Reseller Island podcast. I really appreciate it. Thanks everyone for coming out. I'm going to go take some medicine and drink some caffeine. Appreciate ya. Goodbye.